So excited to be joined here by Weston McKennie, U.S. national team, Juventus, best hair I've seen in a very long time, which I got to find out how you do that, actually. Thanks, Kwik Goal, for getting us together and allowing this chat to happen. So excited to be talking with you, man.
Thank you.
But most importantly, on U.S. soccer fans' minds, on Juventus fans' minds, on my mind as a fan of yours, how you feeling, man? Because I've seen the reports that you're close to coming back. How's the body feeling?
Yeah, no, I mean, it feels good, but I've been like trying to get back into training, but I still feel like a little bit, so I don't really want to risk it. Like trying to come back early and then, messing it up even more. So I'm just trying to take it easy right now. Tomorrow I'll probably end up, going outside with the team, but doing like more individual training than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's what is it, 2 weeks away to the World Cup? I mean, it's right here.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. So it's got a lot of players, it being in the winter time. It's definitely having a lot of players, worried a bit about getting injured right before, because, a 2-week injury can do it for you.
Well, to take your mind off of the tough stuff, because, yeah, it's just a weird window. Obviously, Winter World Cup, it's right ahead of you. For a second, just see if you can help us understand what it's like to be on the eve of your first World Cup. I mean, what do you think about that daily? Is it just overwhelming your thoughts, or are you just kind of playing it cool until you get there?
No, I'm just playing it cool, kind of, I guess. It's like Christmas, kind of, where you get excited before, the month of December, but you aren't super excited until like the morning of, Christmas. So that's kind of how it is for me. Like, I'm someone that, like, I live in the moment. So like whenever it gets there and I'm on the plane to go there, and it's like 2 days before the game, then I'll be like, oh my God, I'm actually here. Like, this is happening. So I'm definitely excited for it, for sure.
I mean, how many ticket requests did you get? What's the number at this point?
My number of excitement?
No, your number of tickets, your ticket requests. I'm sure everyone.
Gosh.
I'm sure your like fourth grade teachers hit you up.
Yeah, but it's I'm more so trying to keep it family based, and just having like the people that were kind of there with me from the beginning. So I just have like my mom, my dad, my brother's wife. My grandma was supposed to come, but she ran into a little bit of health issues, so she won't be able to make it anymore. So yeah, it's just them.
Oh man, well I hope she's doing okay.
Yeah.
A World Cup goal hopefully has some healing powers.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I'm sure you were like me, and you're in the backyard. You're doing the commentary for yourself. You're playing in a World Cup. Did you think this day was going to be possible? I guess when you were in the backyard and you were imagining first being a professional, then obviously playing for a club like Juventus, but now, I mean, the zenith, the biggest thing out there, to play in a World Cup. I mean, did those dreams ever seem realistic, and how have you kept yourself on track to go achieve them?
They were realistic. So I went through like a wave of dreaming, I guess, whenever I was younger. Like, whenever I was young, I had really big dreams, like, yeah, like I'm gonna be there one day, like expectations for myself, and kind of just like far out thoughts. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there one day. And then whenever it got to the point where I was like, U15, U16, U17, like men's national team or boys national team, those dreams kind of like felt further away than they did before. And then whenever I made the jump over to Germany, I had, regained those dreams and those thoughts of playing in a World Cup. And, me personally, I thought that if we would have qualified in 2018, that I could have at least been one of the guys that could have made the roster, because Bruce had a history of calling at least one or two young guys that didn't have the experience, just to give them the experience, like he did with the Beasley and Donovan back then. So for sure, I I I had hopes then as well. But now it's it's coming true. So it's been a one hell of a journey.
Well, I'm psyched for you, man. We can't wait to see you guys out there. And I've been a fan of yours for a while. I love the game you have. Where would you say it comes from? You have this um, this unusual and unique game as an American player, where you bring a certain flair, even in your celebrations. Was there a play? Was there a player growing up? Was there a way you trained? How did you cultivate this player that you've become?
Um, Honestly, I think it came from whenever I was younger, just like, I mean, not in any arrogant way, but like building the confidence when I was younger because I was able to do things other kids couldn't whenever I moved back from Germany, when I moved to the US, when I was younger, because, soccer is way more accelerated in Germany than it was back in the US at the time. At my age, I started out when I came back to America, I started playing rec league. So everyone's just like, oh, who's this German kid and blah, blah. And so like, I felt like I was one step ahead of everyone. So it gave me even more confidence to just try things and just to do whatever, in a sense. As I got older, I've realized like the game that I had when I was younger is different from the one I am now. Because before I was the guy, I didn't really want to run back on defense and I didn't really want to, defend. I just wanted to only attack. And now when I moved to Germany when I was 17, 18 years old, my coach there was the one that kind of got me into like the mindset of just like work hard in every aspect of the game, you know. But as far as just the flair, I guess I've always been an extra kid, like an extra guy. And like literally, and I've always did extra, not in extra sense as in like work or something, like extra, like if someone tells a joke, I'll take the joke one step further. So like I've been extra in everything I've always done, really. So I guess that's where I get it from.
It's almost I see the extra as like entertainer. Do you feel like an entertainer? Because when I watch
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
that's what I get from you.
I'm the guy that feels like I need to bring the good vibes to everyone always. Even if good vibes are there, I need to bring more. So that's me for sure.
What about a player that you cultivated your game after? Was there a player you tried to emulate, whether when you were young or even now as a pro?
To be completely honest, no, I didn't really have like someone, because like my favorite player growing up was Francesco Totti, and I don't try and copy his game. That's like if I said, my favorite player was Ronaldinho, like I play nothing like him. um, for me, I've just always tried to be my own type of player. I had a favorite player, but I didn't really watch sports when I was younger. Um, so I couldn't really tell you someone that I tried to be like or someone that I based my game around. I just always, just wanted to play.
Yeah, I've got some for you. Wait right there. Check this out. So when I was little, I used to watch a lot of Italian football. I come from an Italian background, and you said a name, and that name was definitely that was that was that was definitely one of my favorites. Actually, I got to spend in Italy one time. I mean, that guy played the game. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I wish he was still out there.
I had a physio that used to work with Roma, and he actually like helped me complete my dream of getting a signed jersey from him. So Totti had come to Juventus at one point and brought a jersey of his and signed it and gave it to me, and I was like, no way, like
Oh,
that
that's
really.
incredible. Well, I'm sure that's respect for your game too. I'm sure that the love goes both ways. You probably won't admit that being a Roma guy, but What a nice gesture. What would you do on your own when you were little? I feel like everyone had their routine. Did you have a training routine when you were off on your own? You know, no team, no coaches. You would just get out there and work on your game.
You know, I wasn't really like someone that like went out and did drills by myself, but I went and I just played outside, like in the street. That's kind of like what I did. I just went outside and got better in the street, and in Germany was like, that's all we did all day, every day. You know, we would go outside and just have fun. And I feel like that was the best way to learn. Just in a sense of like, you get the street smart, you get the little flariness, you get sorry, you get the flariness, you get like the creativeness and everything. So I didn't really just go out and do drills by myself. I just went and played.
Yeah, Cruyff's got the most amazing quote. He says, I would train at Ajax three hours a week, but I'd play in the streets 3 hours a day. Where do you think I learned how to play football?
Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, so Cruyff, this is one of my favorite quotes. He said, I would train at Ajax 3 hours a week, and I'd play 3 hours a day in the street. Where do you think I learned how to play football?
Oh, yeah. No, you learn so much in just playing outside, just playing a game in the street. Like, I mean, there's a reason why Brazilians are always good at soccer. That's all they do. So, I mean, for me, being in Germany, I was blessed to be able to live there and to be able to pick up the game there. In a sense of like, there's so many things that you can learn by just playing freely, playing in the street, that you can't learn in a controlled environment. You know, sometimes you learn, sometimes maybe it's not even part of the game, but you learn sometimes to stick up for yourself or to not take, crap from no one. Like, you learn the little things that you may not know or learn in a controlled environment that you learn on the street. So that's kind of how I was.
So the first time I met you was actually playing against you in Nash's Showdown. And I think you might have gotten MVP of that game. Did you get MVP of that game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were absolutely bringing it. There's this childlike thing that comes out in you. I saw it when you were playing in VBFC as well. Shout out to Tim and Dylan that created something so incredible out there in California. Yeah. Well, is that kid side of you that just finds so much joy in the creativity of the game? Can you feel that when you're out in these big moments playing Champions League games? At Parc des Princes the other day when you scored a nasty goal. Is that kid style still in there somewhere?
I would definitely say so. I mean, I think that's something that I would feel like is in every player still. I hope, at least, because the passion was born when you were a kid, and like, if you still enjoy it, like, the one thing I always say, and the one thing my parents always told me was like, if you stop having fun with the game, then what are you doing it for? Like, and the best memories I've had was as a kid playing the game. Obviously I've had great memories in my professional career, but like those days where you're sitting out at a complex, and you guys have your tents put up and your canopies put up, and you're eating orange slices and playing 4 games a day, like, and then walking around looking at other people's games and being like, yeah, like, our team's the best. Like, like, those are the best times. And I think back to those moments sometimes when things get difficult and when things aren't going my way. I'm just like that. Like I remind myself, like, that's why you love the game. Like, those memories, those bonds, those friendships, those relationships, the goals, the fans, these are all things that make the game what it is.
Try and help us understand what it's like, forget being linked with, to eventually sign with a historic European power like Juventus.
It was definitely like, it was crazy because like it was mind blowing for me. I was just sitting at home on the couch in Germany, and we're about to leave for preseason with Schalke. And then Corey, as you may know, called me and was like, yo, this could be of like real interest and everything. And I was like, are you kidding with me or is this real? Like really, like just I'll call you in the tomorrow or call you the next days and like just I'll inform you, blah blah. And so like I get on the plane to fly to Austria. We were having a training camp in Austria, and I was on the bus after we landed. He was like, "Yo, the coach is gonna call you," and I was like, "Wait, Pirlo?" And he's like, "Yeah, Pirlo's gonna call you," and I'm just like. And I'm sitting on the bus, like holding my phone like this the whole time, like thinking, like, "Oh my god!"
Oh wait, did no one know? Like no one on the bus knew that this was
No,
happening?
no one on the bus knew at the time. And so like I'm sitting there, I'm like, God, like what's happening? And then like I remember I finally got to we got to the training ground, and then I think we got in, we went ate lunch, and then we went and trained, and then we came back and then had a meal. And normally we had the rule no phones at the table or whatever. My phone was like in my lap, like in between my legs, like, and I'm looking down, and then all of a sudden I see a phone call coming in Italy, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is him!" And I like picked it up, and I walked out of the meal room straight on the phone, and everyone was just like, "Yo, what is this guy doing?" Like, and so I walked out and just had a conversation with him, and he was like, "Oh, I think you could be really good for our squad, and you know our game plan and this that." Yeah, so I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like this is actually happening." And I was like, "Please, like just let everything," because you know, like phone call, everything can be good, but as long as the numbers aren't good from like club to club or you know club salary or whatever, like it doesn't work. And so I was like, please
Sure.
just go through. Like I'm really hoping that this goes through. And so you know I get back into the lunch or into dinner, and like my guys at my table, like we sat always the same table really, and I was like, yo, Pirlo just called me from you. I was like, yeah.
They were like, yeah, right.
Yeah, no, really, like, yeah, right. Like, no, bro. I was like, really, I might be going to Juventus. And they were like, bro, no way. That's crazy. Really? And I was like, yeah, really. And then I just remember a couple of days were going by, and you know, they figured out all this stuff, and I left from training camp like 3 days later, 4 days later, because they were figuring out everything, you know, contractually and stuff. And then it finally all went through, and I flew back to Germany, packed just like you know 3 sets of clothes, and I flew to Italy, and I signed on my birthday.
Oh, coolest call of your life.
Oh yeah.
Until the next one.
Yeah, until the next one. Probably getting the call from Cristiano was also pretty cool, but
Oh, when he was at Juventus.
yeah, just anytime he called me was best time of my life.
Yeah, you're like, I actually got to get this one. That's
Yeah,
that's my boy C. What about playing with him? What was that like?
No, it was amazing. You know, everyone has this image of him in his head where they think, oh, he's arrogant, oh, he's this, he's that, blah blah. He's only focused on work and everything, but he's a guy. He enjoys. I think it's weird. Like he enjoys working. Like he really enjoys it. But he also enjoys his time off. He loves to spend time with his family and stuff. And this guy was just a different breed when it came to taking care of his body. Like literally, like we would travel an away game and get back at like 3 a.m, and we have training at 10:30 a.m the next day or 11. And, you know, people are just going in the locker room, changing their clothes and just leaving just to get home quick so they can get some sleep. And this guy's like, me, I hate ice baths. Like literally it's the worst thing. I can't do them. And like we're in the locker room and everyone's changing, going, and I'm like about to change to go on my thing, and he's already stripped down only into his underwear with a towel around his neck, and I'm just like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, I go to the ice bath. He say, Mecky, you come with me. Come on, it's good for you. if you don't want to make 5 minutes, it's okay. You make 20 second, 30 second, 40 seconds every time. It's better for you. But come, we speak a little bit, we talk. It's okay. And I'm like, I mean, I can't say no. Can't say no to him. So, so I'm just like, fudge, and put on my towel. I go to the ice bath and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, man. So what did you think about the game today? But this guy was crazy when it came to take care of his body. Ridiculous.
Does that wear off at some point, or is it? And it's just that's just like that's Cristiano. Yeah, he's hilarious. He always does the ice bath. Or do you always like have to go like and just double take? Be like, I mean, this is wild.
No, I would say like for the first couple months, it was still like, holy crap, like, like I'm playing with this guy, like this legend of the game, and this is like, it's the Cristiano. But after a while, like, I mean, I'm sure for any professional, like once you get past that like fandom and that, stardom phase, it's just like it's also better for you because, as a professional athlete, like you don't always, you're stuck with it all the time when you go out in public, being treated a different way because of who you are and blah, blah, and what you do. And sometimes the just being treated normal as a normal person, as a normal human being is like the best thing. And so that's kind of like what I always do. Like I may, be like, holy crap, like for, 2 months, but in those 2 months, I won't, be like, oh my God, Chris, like, let's take a photo together or something like that. Like I'm still trying to be normal as everything else. And I was always one cracking jokes and stuff, and he'd crack jokes and I just got to know him better and throughout the course of the season.
I remember I was playing in the Confederations Cup with the US and France, and we were playing against Brazil, and I was coming out to warm up for the game. And I heard cleats, these small locker, small tunnels to the field out in Europe, old school stadium. And I heard cleats next to me, and I looked out of the corner of my eye and I saw those shoes that only one person was wearing at that time in the world. And I'm like, dude, that's Ronaldinho. And I was like, play it cool, play it cool. So I like get up the stairs just ahead of him. And then I go down to pretend to tie my shoes just so I could watch him walk out onto the field as like just one of those moments where it's like, I gotta step out of my body and be like 8-year-old in me that'd be like, this is crazy. And I just watched him walk out and I was like, all right, that's enough. And yeah, tied my shoe and went and trained. I mean, it's wild when you get to play with your heroes, or against them.
No. I had that same experience also with Lewandowski. It was the first time, my first professional season with Schalke, and we were playing against Bayern, and I think they got a PK, and it was to make it 3-0. So he scored the PK, and it's just like, it felt like I had an outer body experience because like he scored the PK. I'm on the 18, but they're running back to their half, and I'm like just walking back, and I just see him run by, and I was like, "That's crazy."
Oh man, I love it.
Play with this guy in FIFA, like that's normal.
I know what your dribble rating is.
Yeah, like you scored that, like of course you did. Your rating's like 89 in PK. Like, come on.
I would have gone to the left with you though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a couple of quick ones. So, best or favorite goal you've ever scored?
Probably the one I scored against Barcelona was my favorite goal in my professional career. Just because the backstory behind it, when we used to live in Germany, as a kid, whenever I was, I think 7 years old, my family took a trip to Barcelona, and I'd just been playing soccer for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, but I knew who these players were. And, it was back, Ronaldinho was playing there, Samuel, all these guys. And we were outside the stadium, but I think they were training inside the stadium at the time. And we're outside the stadium, and like nobody was around or nothing. And like we begged the security guy, like my mom and my mom begging, like, hey, like my son, we're from America. Like, is it possible we just see the inside? Like we came here only for this, blah, blah, blah. And so like the guy let us in and we went inside the stadium while they were training. And I'm seeing like Ronaldinho on the field, Messi, like all these
That's
guys
so
out on the field. And a ball got kicked up into the stands and I went and threw it back down to them. And then like, so yeah, so I went and like kicked it from the stands back down to them. And then after that, like we watched maybe like 5 minutes and then we had to leave because we weren't technically supposed to be in there. So then whenever I scored the goal, I'm like, holy crap, like what a full circle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got chills. That's a incredible story. That stadium too.
Yeah.
I can't. I remember seeing Eto. I think it was for Mallorca or can't remember who. He scored a goal against Barcelona in the game I went in like 2000 or 2001. It was insane, and it was like, who is this guy? Oh my God, he's scoring against Barcelona at the new camp, and then of course ended up back there.
Yeah.
What about favorite player you've played with or against?
Favorite player I've played with. I would probably have to say, favorite player I've played with. It may be one that a lot of people considering where I've played or the team I play on and who I've played with. My favorite player I play with is actually Tyler.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And there's a history there, right?
There's a history, there's a background. We share kind of a similar story, and we both I feel like when we're both on the field together, like we know we have each other's back, like no matter what comes. Like if he sees I get tackled dirty, he's messing up that guy. And if I see him get tackled dirty, like I'm messing up that guy. It's honestly crazy. And it's amazing, like in my head, whenever I think about it, just because like we just understand each other so well and we get along so well. And like I said, our backgrounds, our history, our how long ago we've known each other. It's nice to play with him because he's one of those guys that, you know, whenever you play with someone, you want someone next to you that you know is going to go into any dogfight with you. And Tyler's that guy for me, and I'm that guy for him. And so whenever you have that, you know, connection with someone, it's better than any big name that may not do the same.
Yeah, and also forget what anyone else thinks. This is who you love playing with and against. Although I would imagine you don't want to play against him. I mean, he's had an incredible season. I saw him getting chanted off the field the other day by the fans. There's only one Tyler Adams.
Having a great season. My hardest opponent I've played against, though, for me, also considering the players I played against, and people may not think, is probably Thiago. Back when he was at Bayern, this guy was different. You couldn't win the ball off of him. You couldn't anticipate him. Like, he had an out in every situation. He knew his surroundings. Like, he literally had eyes in the back of his head. It was way too hard. Like, he was unpressable. Unpressable. And I know because I was the guy that was trying to press him. So it was hard. For sure.
Well, could you imagine being behind, you know, Xavi and Iniesta and Busquets? I mean, it's incredible to think of like the career he ended up having anyway, with those guys standing in his way to get on the field.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. He's for sure probably the hardest guy I've played against.
And everyone's, you know, speculating and writing articles, but what does it feel like to you to have this young U.S. team going into a World Cup? I mean, what's it like with people could use inexperience and youth as some sort of handicap, but what does it feel like? Because no one's inside that team. You know, you guys know better than anyone. You know what the chemistry, camaraderie, and feeling is with this group.
No, I mean it's honestly, I mean, we don't really see it as a disadvantage. We see it as an advantage. You know, we all have, you know, obviously it all comes down to on the field, but, you know, off the field, we're all so close. We all have known each other for so long. We all have a well understanding about each other. No, there's no cliques, there's no groups. Like everyone can get along with everyone, like literally everyone. So like that translates to on the field, because we just, there's one thing that US has always been known for, and it's like the guys that never give up, the guys that are always in the dogfight, the guys that will play to 200 minutes if they have to. And I feel like, being young helps with that as well, because, we know that we're young, and all of us have kind of most of us have a similar story where, we had to fight to get there. We weren't always the ones that were, the star children in our groups or in our ages or whatever, but we found a way. And so like that's already instilled in us. Like we know that we have something to prove, and we want to prove that. And, being young allows us to even have more energy to run around and press and just be competitive, because everyone's already thinking, oh, it's a young team, they have no experience, they blah blah. But we don't want that excuse for us. We don't want this. We want to show like, hey, we can get the job done too. Obviously we know that we don't have as much talent as some other national teams, but the things that we do have is our connection, our chemistry, our relentlessness in games. And I think, if we can pull that together and be on our tip top form as well, then I think it would be an exciting tournament for us.
Well, Weston, really appreciate the time you've given us, my man. I've loved watching you play. Wish you speedy recovery. Wish you the best of success. And I'll be there with all the rest of the U.S. fans cheering you guys on during this World Cup, man. So go get cut.
Perfect. Thank you.